Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of my Ford Transit cargo van, camper van conversion video journal. It's a really long name. We're gonna have to shorten that up a bit. First off, I know I have black stuff all over my face, so you don't need a comment below that I, have the black stuff all over my face. That is window weld. The reason I have window weld on my face is because I was inside the van welding a part that seemed to leak from the fan. Part of the fan around the perimeter was leaking a day after I had caulked the top and inside the van, and I was really upset. I did not know. I followed all these instructions pretty well, and I felt like I did a good job putting the sealant down and the window weld down, but still I got some drips from the fan in the inside, and that was really disheartening. So I'll show you above, but I went ahead and did a silicone caulk around the perimeter over top the RV sealant that I put down previously. But then I went in the inside and I did the window weld again around the perimeter, and I'll show you what I did with that. So we did have some leakage with the fan, and now I have black stuff on my face. Hopefully I fixed it. Don't know if this will be as easy to fix. Actually, it doesn't come off that easy. Great. Alright, let me show you what I did above, and I'll show you the inside as well. So you probably can't really tell, but that is the silicone over top the RV roof sealant. I did go around the perimeter above the wood where the wood and the van mate. I did go around again and put another layer of sealant above that, and somehow in the process I transferred that window weld to my face, so hopefully it comes off. Along with resealing the fan, I'm starting out today by cutting out some PolyIso insulation for the floor. And I've seen this done, but basically I'm gonna start on the floor here soon. But basically what I'm going to do for the floor is I'm not gonna do framing at all. I don't wanna screw into the van anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay down do some jigsaw pieces of PolyIso, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put a piece of XPS insulation board on top of that to make it all flat, while using sealants in between. And then on top of that, I'm gonna put some pieces of plywood. And then on top of that, I'm gonna put some decorative sheet vinyl over top the plywood to make it look nice and protect our feet from splinters. But the first step with this, I'm not going to do too much today, but the first step with this is cutting out pieces of this PolyIso in order to make it level with the pieces of metal in the van on the floor that are a little raised. If you see these raised areas on the floor, those are essentially, I'm putting all the spaces that are lower down. I'm gonna put the PolyIso board down just to make it level and insulate it a little more. That should take not too long. It's actually not too hard to cut. I'm using a tape measure to measure out the pieces, and then I'm just using a razor blade, and it's really, really easy to cut, so I'm really thankful for that. I've been working on cutting the bottom layer of the insulation for about 3 days now. This is going to be the 4th day of cutting out the insulation. I've cut quite a lot, if you can tell. This used to be a full board like this. I mean, even this is a little cut. This used to be a full board, and I'll show you what I've done today. I should finish. I will definitely finish. Let's say that. I will definitely finish with cutting out the puzzle pieces for the bottom layer of the van, and then I will cut the big XPS to fit over all of that, and then cut the plywood to fit over that, and that should be the floor. I haven't got the sheet vinyl yet. That will be the next thing I need to go to Home Depot or Lowe's to get. But I will get the sheet vinyl for the top of the plywood, and that will be the floor. But this is the 4th day of cutting the floor. So, looking forward to being done with that. Okay, this is the progress I've made on kind of fitting those puzzle pieces into the base of the floor. Gone pretty well. It's just been busy work, honestly. I just have a couple more spots. I have one spot over here that I need to get a piece for, and a couple other kind of tough areas that are a little wonky, but almost done. Bench. Alright, and I am finally done with doing these puzzle pieces of PolyIso to fill in the gaps on the floor, the base of the floor. So that took a little longer than I was hoping, but I think it looks really good. Besides it being a little messy, it was a pain-free process. It just took a little while. Instead of using this green XPS board as the next layer in the van, I thought about just using this piece of flooring that actually came with the van. It's got like slight insulation on the bottom, but I was just thinking about like the hassle it would be to sell it. I don't want to throw it away. I'm not about throwing stuff away and wasting products, and it's a good floor. Thought about putting this down over that foam board, the PolyIso that I just cut out. So me and my dad, say hi, Dad. So me and my dad are trying to figure out how to adhere it, but we do have a couple options right here for some sprays and adhesion products. And then after that, we're gonna put, you can't really see it, but this plywood right here on top of all that, and that will be the floor. It's helpful to have this flooring piece that was already in the van so it can measure out the exact dimensions of the floor for the plywood. So that's really helpful, so we don't need to actually measure inside the van. We can just lay this on top and cut. That's what we're doing. Me and my dad cut all these pieces out, but we still have about 36 inches down that way, 36 by like 60, that still needs to get plywood made for it. The piece of plywood that I thought could fit all across is not big enough, so we just need to go to Home Depot and get another piece of plywood. Again, another day that was a little slower than I anticipated, but I did get all those foam boards cut and kind of came up with a plan for tomorrow. Also, I don't know why I didn't think of this, why I forgot to tell y'all, but Lowe's finally got my Renology 400 watt solar panels in, so can install those as well. Great news. So that's gonna be another adventure on top of the roof that we'll need to navigate once we get there. I finally finished with cutting out the pieces of plywood for the floor. It was actually a lot of fun. It was very empowering as a woman, like using these power tools. I know that sounds like weird, but my dad taught me how to use the power tools, taught me how to use the circular saw and the jigsaw, and you know, I've been using it on my own, and for some reason that just makes me feel, you know, empowered, like these big old power tools that I'm working on my own. And so it was actually a lot of fun, and I got some really good cuts out of these. I do have, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I do have one more cut over here. Yeah, so the plywood is all cut. Now it's time to lay down the floor insulation. I am gonna need a partner for some of it to help me get the bigger pieces on, just do it one fell swoop. But yeah, so floor is looking like it is going to get installed today. Excited. My mom just helped me glue down all of the pieces that fit in those little slots here. The dead space, I guess you could call it. We just glued it down, and it's actually staying pretty well. I'm very, very pleased with how sturdy it's staying. So now we are going to go ahead and get the mat and put it down on the floor and glue it down. Do you like the floor?
Lily, Lily!
Nope.
No, I don't like the floor.
Strong lady. cured overnight and it seems to be on there pretty good. It's not coming up. I also put, you can see it's kind of messy, but I put some great stuff, cracks and gaps in the gaps on the walls and a gap in the middle. Well, no, this gap right here. That helped give it some cushioning while we're driving, so you know, it won't squeak or anything while we're driving. It also just filled the cracks up, made it look pretty, even though it kind of looks a little ugly, but it will be sealed over by the flooring. Went to Lowe's Improvement today and got the vinyl sheet flooring, and it looks pretty cool. It's a really good style. Really excited to put it down. I've sanded this floor lightly and vacuumed it a bunch of times. There's not going to be any bumps under, hopefully, with the amount of vacuuming I did. But we're ready to lay it down, so let's do that. I'm excited to have a real looking floor. So it is raining today. I will not be doing the rest of the flooring, gluing it down or cutting it and gluing it down. Instead, I'll do some stuff inside the garage. So I do have a couple projects I can do in the garage. One being the cabinet. I can, you know, paint that the white color that I wanted to paint it. And I can also make the countertop out of that big piece of wood that we got at Home Depot a couple weeks ago. So I'll be doing that inside the garage while it's raining, and whenever the sun comes back up, we'll revisit the floor.
We're taking these little blocks out that are holding this together, and we're going to replace it with a new block so we can go higher.
So this is the counter upside down, and
You know,
it's
now it's
about,
kind of like all apart, but we're going to put it back together.
it's about 32 inches with the countertop. We haven't put the countertop on, obviously.
What do I talk like? Translate for me?
But we're going to make it higher, and that's what my dad's taking care of, some things. We just cut these boards, go on the outside. Now I'm gonna sand them. tight, clamped together. I put wood glue and did pocket holes, screws, in between. Ooh, this is really on there. In between boards, and so I'm gonna see how it is doing now. Should be all set now that let it sit overnight. There we go. Okay, and let's get this. And so next step would be to fill it in with wood filler, those spots that, that's a sturdy piece of wood. Jeez. Oh gosh, it's falling, it's falling, it's falling, it's falling. Ugh. Okay, wow, that looks great. So next steps are to fill it in the spots with wood filler that need a little bit of care, like these gaps in between here. This will be the top to the cabinet. I don't know if I mentioned that already. I wanted to make it on my own, and I think it looks really cool. I will have to later on cut a square in it for our sink, but that won't be until we get that. I haven't done that yet. Yeah, so it looks really good. I'm gonna do some wood filler now and then let that sit. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna continue to cut the floor, but I opened up, well, it was raining yesterday a lot, so it's like, heck no, I'm not gonna be outside cutting the floor. So I did it, but I came into a surprise. There is some droplets of water here. It is coming from the fan, so my silicone sealant did not work, which is disappointing for sure. Hey y'all, so it is raining today again. Yesterday was pretty nice, the day before was a little rainy, and it's cold. So that puts a damper on anything to do with really painting or adhesives. You really need to be like 50 degrees to put on paint. So 50 degrees, between 50 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And so, you know, doing these projects while it's raining, I can't finish the floor. The floor is on hold, which really sucks. So I've been confined to the garage, great garage by the way, to do work, but I can't paint because it's right at like 47, 48 degrees, and I don't feel safe. I don't feel super comfortable painting and not knowing what will happen. I want it to look good. So I'm just trying to do things that I can do without painting or really anything. So I am going to sand the countertop and kind of get that ready. I'm gonna sand it about 1/8 of an inch. I did wood filler yesterday and it looks like it did really well. So we'll see how it comes out when I sand it, and might do more wood filler again. But let's sand it. Let's do this. I am pretty proud of how this looks. It's nice and smooth. A lot of imperfection you can see in it. You can still see a lot of that wood glue, but I think I like it, honestly. I think I like the way it looks. I've been sanding for about many hours. I think it looks good, and I think I'm ready to stain. I'm really satisfied and proud of myself. Nice and smooth. I like it. It has been a morning, a day, a week, 2 weeks. Nearing 2 weeks working on the floor. And I hope this is all in the same video, but been set back because it's been raining. It's too cold. And so today I kind of had it, and I just want to install this floor. I hope it works out. I really hope it works out. The adhesive says everything, like your floor and the adhesive, the actual adhesive, needs to be at 70 degrees for 48 hours before you start. That didn't happen. It was consistently, it's been consistently at like 40 degrees, 45 degrees. I've been struggling lately with this build because it's hard to do it on my own. I could see how quicker it could get done if more hands are on. I'm very thankful for my parents who have been helping off and on. But I just keep thinking about Jonathan being here, and how fun that would be to do with him and to learn with him. And one of my love languages is quality time, and this is exactly how I would love to spend quality time with my husband. And so I'm just missing him a lot. I'm just missing doing these kinds of things with him and adventure, and I'm hoping that the job training will allow us to be together very soon. Also, I'm just kind of upset with the build because it just seems like every time I'm ready to do something, another roadblock pops up. So like, we had a heater that we could heat like an area, a space heater that we could heat a space up, and that broke today. And so I had to run out to the store and get a heater. That's what you hear in the background, heating up the area. I had to run out and go get that. And so like every day it just seems like, okay, I gotta go get that, so it's delayed another day, and I have to figure out what else I can do so I don't waste a day of build time. But I'm just gonna install this floor and hope for the best. I know I should probably be patient and just wait for everything to heat up, but when is that gonna be? Will I have to wait for late spring, summer for that to happen? No, I'm not gonna wait that long. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the adhesive down. I'm going to paint the countertop with polyurethane, and I'm also going to paint the cabinet with white paint. So all of that to conclude, if you are building a van, I would wait for a warmer month to start your build, so the paint and the adhesives dry well. That is all. Thank you. Finally finished. I am very happy with how it turned out. I just caulked around the edges, just finished that, and caulked this one line right here where the two pieces meet. And I'm really happy with the way it looks. It's very sturdy, the adhesive worked really well. It just looks very clean and neat, and very happy. It took a lot longer than I expected, but with results like this, if I need to go slower, then that's just what I need to do. Right now I'm trying to figure out what my next steps will be. I'm still waiting on the insulation. It should be here in between December 24th and January 5th. So really I have to wait for the insulation before I can do any furring strips, before I can do any furniture building. As far as like the bed, like I want to build the bed inside of the van instead of outside the van. So I really need the insulation before I can do anything like that. So it's just really waiting on that. I think I'm gonna just make more plans as far as like my electrical plan. It's all very confusing to me, but I'm slowly understanding it more and more, so that's good. But that's the floor, guys. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. If you guys have any questions, message me. I did follow a lot of blogs and videos per usual, but I also did a little improvisation on my own as well. So I can answer questions on that front. Finally, I have something I knew about and I did research on my own. So very happy with the way it turned out. Yeah. That is this video. That is the flooring video, and I feel like this video is going to be super long. If you did enjoy the video, please show me a little love and give me a thumbs up. If you do want to watch more progress on the van build, then subscribe to us. I hope to see you in another video very, very soon. Bye y'all.